All right, Captain Adam here, Reel to Reel Outdoors. I get a lot of questions about lingo, the terms that we use. People don't understand what they mean. So we're just going to go over some of them for you. One of the ones that I hear all the time is, what is the shoot? And it's S-H-O-O-T. And that would be to shoot, I suppose. But the shoot we call the shoot rigger, which is C-H-U-T-E. The shoot rigger is the center rigger, usually on larger boats or boats that have twin motors, inboard motors. Kind of hard to do that with an outboard, but I guess you could mount that on top of your outboard. I don't know if that voids your warranty, but I'd use really long lags if I was going to do that. Get into some meat down underneath the cover. But anyways, don't try that. It's a bad idea. Next we have our out and down. This is our rigger on the outside of the boat, so it's out and down. And then on this boat, we actually have a corner rigger on one side that we use for our probe. So we'll call it a probe rigger. This has our fish hawk on it, which is basically how we drive, so love the fish hawk. This is the corner rigger, and then this would be the out and down. Pretty straightforward. As far as the boat itself, if you're looking forward on the boat, the left side is the port and the right side is the starboard. So you can always remember this easily because left and port both have 4 letters in it, unless you spell it wrong. But don't spell it wrong, you'll get it right. All right, then we have our stern and our bow. Of course, people I think know that kind of stuff. Our divers, we run 2 divers. Today we're running both wires. So this would be the low diver, this would be the high diver. The low diver would usually have a mag on it, and the high diver is a regular size diver, like a 104. What else we got? Oh yeah, here's some other ones that people come up. So if I say I'm running a paddle, it's almost 100% of the time it's going to be an 11-inch paddle from Dreamweaver Lures. It's probably going to be this one, which is slick tape on both sides with a pickle on it. If I'm saying a large rotator, it's going to be probably a spin doctor or something similar, but it'll have a fin on it because if the rotator rotates and the paddle kind of waddles. And there are 2 different actions. So a paddle is here. If it has a fin on a paddle, then we're going to call it a rotator. Another one that people ask is like, you know, a big spinny, a small spinny. So an 8-inch spinny is generally always what we're calling a small. If we were running the 6-inch spin doctor, we probably would specifically say, you know, the baby spin doctor, or, you know, a small. It wouldn't just be a small rotator or a small spinny. And then we have a large spinny. This is our 10-inch. Anything, you know, those larger rotators, we're going to call it a large rotator, but if it's an 8-inch variety, we're always going to call it a small rotator. And if it's a spin doctor, we always call them spinnies for the most part. We also have fish shape rotators. I don't fish them very much anymore, but I used to fish them a lot. So any rotator that looks like a fish, and then you would have a large and a small variety of that. Now, if we are talking about, and this is all kind of terms for Ludington, I wouldn't say that every port probably has different terms. Every lake probably has different terms. I'm not saying that any of them are wrong. Actually, if you find any contradiction in what you guys call it, drop a comment in the video. I'd love to see what it's called in other places. A lot of times people will say a pickle. So I caught it on a white slick pickle. That would be a fly. Now, if you say pickle rig, then it's going to be a meat rig. So pretty much anytime you say something and then rig, it means that it's a meat rig. So instead, by comparison, you have your meat rig and you just have your regular fly. What else? Anybody? Anyone? All right, another lingo thing that gets me in trouble is when I call something a stack or a stacker. And I know that in the old days of fishing, and still in Lake Ontario, people will run 2 downrigger rods off the same rigger, and that's called a stacker, or stacking a rigger. In Ludington, however, we run a free slide and a stack. So essentially this is a downrigger rod here. So we're going to hook this, let's just say that's hooked to the ball. Now there's two different ways that we're going to hook on our secondary bait. And in Michigan also, this second bait that you're clipping to that rigger does not count as a rod. However, if you put two rods on one rigger, it counts as two rods. So this is another reason that we do this. It's like a bonus bait that you're getting. So we will take the main line. We will clip on a secondary slider, and as you see, it will slide. So as you let the rigger down, it's going to go about 50% of the distance. Now, if we want to stack this slide and make it a fixed slide or a fixed stacker, we take a rubber band, we loop through itself, and we have a loop. Now it's fixed. And then we hook through the main line and the rubber band. If you only hook through the rubber band, you will have a bite that doesn't last very long. And I've done that a couple times. Sometimes forget to hook this on and throw it overboard and it's gone. Luckily I remembered that time. But anyways, that's another lingo thing that people correct me on a lot, but actually in Ludington that's what it's known as. Also in Ludington we have a very steep drop off north of town, and we call that the bank. And if you're fishing the bank, that means you're running along that drop off. When you're fishing the bank, if you're going straight down the bank, you're actually not going straight, you're going northeast or southwest. So you're on like a 30-degree troll or a 40-degree troll. People like to run up there and then go on a due north, and the due north kind of gets you in trouble because you start in 80 foot of water and you end up in 200 foot of water. So the idea of running the bank is staying in the same depth of water the whole way down. So if you're ever getting honked at or air horned or yelled at in the dark, it's probably because you're changing depth rapidly. And when you do that, it forces everybody to shift or cut you off. And nobody really wants to cut anybody off, especially out on a beautiful Saturday morning. Nothing like starting out getting all tangled up. So there's some lingo stuff for you. If you got any more questions or terms you want to know about, drop a comment. If you like what you hear, hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell for reminders. When I post new videos, you'll be the first to know. And any other questions, feel free to email me or just drop a comment in the video. And we'll get some more information for you coming up real soon.